Still, a devotee will follow Krishna's injunctions. A devotee who has no problem with Krishna's personal freedom is still obedient to Krishna's religious injunctions. So Lord Sri Krishna's dealings with the gopis occurred under special circumstances. Okay. So it's now 6 o'clock and we should begin Bhagavad Gita class. As much as I would like to finish this chapter, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, just over 5 pages left. If we run out of things to say during Bhagavad Gita class, then I'll return here. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait for part 2 of chapter 33 next week. And it could be next Thursday, because I will likely not be able to be in Tuesday or Wednesday. So we must, according to the schedule, according to the fixity of the terms, according to Krishna's schedule, it's Bhagavad Gita class time. And therefore I'm going to move that big chair into the middle of the room and presumptuously sit on it and deliver the Bhagavad Gita class. Which means that I must ask all of you to sort of shift toward that side of the room. However, don't sit right against that wall, right? See, so many rules and regulations here, huh? How Krishna is so free, but we have to obey so many different conditions. So I'm going to have to put a barrier just where you are there, so that people can come in, take darshan. Otherwise, they'll walk between us as we're having class, and that's no good. So just give me a couple of minutes to get set up, and we will begin our Bhagavad Gita class. Hare Krishna. Please, yeah. Yeah, we need this. And what else do we need?
Krishna book every evening.
Yeah, that's the one we need special. So usually we sing this song before the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I'm going to sing it now before Gita class as well. Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita refers to Lord Krishna as Madhava, which means the husband of the goddess of fortune. And this song is called Jai Radha Madhava. He is the darling of the Gopi Jana, the cowherd damsels of Vrindavan. He's the lifter of Govardhan Hill. He is the giver of joy to Mother Yashoda and to the residents of Vrindavan, the Braja Jana. And he wanders in the forests on the bank of the river Yamuna. So this is a very appropriate song, given that we've been just reading about Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes with the gopis from Krishna book. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Shri Shrimad. His Divine Grace Srila Abhayacharya Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Navadip Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Devi Ki, Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki, Jayanitai Gaur Premanandi, Haribol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Krishna. Very good. All glories unto the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, and today's verse is chapter 5, text 22. I'm not sure how this is going to go, because I am unprepared. Not least because I'm standing in for another speaker who couldn't make it today. So we depend on Krishna, because anything that might be of value to be said only comes by the Lord's grace, by His mercy. And therefore, we depend completely upon Krishna for saying something which is pleasing to Him. Everybody can see the screens, yeah? Okay. So, yes. So I'll sing line by line, yeah, and you repeat after me, line by line, okay? One line at a time. Yehi samsparsha jabhoga. Yehi samsparsha jabhoga. Dukkha yonaya evate. Dukkha yonaya evate. Adyantavanta kaunteya. Adyantavanta kaunteya. Nateshu ramate buddha. Nateshu ramate buddha. Yehi samsparsha jabhoga. Dukkha yonaya evate. Adyantavanta kaunteya. Nateshu ramate buddha. Would someone else like to chant? Anybody? You can give it a try. You got special mercy points for trying. Okay. Yehi samsparsha ya boga. Dukkha yonaya evate. Adyantavanta kaunteya. Nateshu ramate buddha. Well done. Anyone else for special mercy points? Double special mercy points? Triple? No? Okay, we'll go to word for word, yeah? My version doesn't have it, so I'll read off the screen. Okay, please repeat after me. Yea, those, he, certainly, samsparshaja, by contact with the material senses, bhoga, enjoyments, dukkha, distress, yonaya, sources of, eva, certainly, te, they are, adi, beginning, anta, end, vanta, subject to, Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, na, never, teshu, in those, ramate, takes delight, Buddha, the intelligent person. Okay, translation by Srila Prabhupada. I'm just seeing if there's any difference in the book I'm holding. Okay. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Okay, should we read together? Repeat after me the translation once again. Yeah? No jumping the gun. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Material sense pleasures are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? In the Padma Purana it is said, Ramante yoginon ante satyananda chid atmani iti rama padena asau param brahma bidhiyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the Absolute Truth. And therefore, the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. Right? Does anyone know the specific meaning of the word Rama? Rama means reservoir of all pleasure. Right? This is Krishna's name. It's not somebody else. Krishna's name is Rama. And there are three Ramas. Lord Balarama, Lord Parashurama, and Lord Ramachandra. Yes? Rama means reservoir of all pleasure. So, why is the Supreme Absolute Truth also known as Rama? Because He is the source of unlimited transcendental pleasures. Yeah? And the mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from this Lord Rama. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, also it is said, Nayam deho deha bhajam niloke, kashtan kaman arhate vidbujam ye, tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam, shutyed yasmad brahmasaukyam tvanantam. This is Lord Rishabhadev speaking to his sons from the 5th canto, 551, Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, my dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Such pleasures are available to the stool eaters, which means the hogs. Yeah. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified. And as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, which are the causes of continuous material existence. The more one is addicted to material pleasures, the more he is entrapped by material miseries. So this is Srila Prabhupada's purport. We will look more closely at it. And first, I'm going to offer some prayers because I'm going to need some help, a lot of help, to say something. Except my verse book is in the other bag. Okay. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamayam Darati Svaparantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesh Tarine Vansha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripasundabhi Evacha Patitanam Pavane Pyo Vaishnave Pyo Namo Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripata maham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Could I ask you to grab me a bag that's just sitting next to the speaker controller? Thanks, Prabhu. Thank you. It's a kind of looks like it came from Nepal. This bag. Just go to your right. Turn to your right in the corner. On top. Look on top. This is like a game, right? There's a bag with a strap. It has a funny knot at the top. That's it. Thank you so much.
$1 million bag?
$1 million, I wish. So this is a very... this is one of those verses that really jumps out at you. I was going to say famous verse, but there's so many famous verses in Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. And all of them are famous because all of them are spoken by Lord Sri Krishna. This is Krishna speaking about himself. So if we want to know the lowdown, if we want to know what is what, then this is the book. Because this is God speaking about reality. He speaks about himself. He speaks about this world. He speaks about all of the different people in this world, all of the different living entities who are occupying different species of life, different kinds of bodies. He speaks about all the different kinds of activities that these different people perform. And he speaks about time, which controls all of the activities in this world. And time is known as Kala, and Kala is another name for Krishna. As the Supersoul, Krishna enters into every nook and cranny of this creation, of this material creation. And therefore he is known as Paramatma, Supersoul, Antaryami. He is within, and he is within each of us. So Krishna is the source of everything that we experience. He is the source of everything that we interact with. There is nothing that I can see, hear, taste, smell, or touch that is not of Krishna. Yes? It is all Krishna. And at the same time, it is not Krishna because there's a difference between the potency and the possessor thereof. There's a difference between the energetic and the energy. Yeah? The engineer in the electricity generator house, yes, he presses his buttons, he fiddles with his machinery, and electricity comes out. Yeah? And the electricity is distributed, it travels to where it has to go. But that electricity is not the same as the electricity generator. There is a generator of electricity, and then there is the electricity. They are one and different at the same time. The sun is situated however many millions of miles away, right? Depends which book you read. But the sun is out there. Yes? And then we have the sunshine. And when the clouds disperse and the sun shines and the sunlight floods our room, we say, oh, the sun has entered my room. Has the sun really entered your room? No. And yes. Yes? The sun, in the form of sunlight, has entered your room. Because the sunlight is not different from the sun. You cannot say that it's different. It's the sun. It comes from the sun. It's not something else. It's not moonshine. It's not yogurt. It's sunlight. It's sun. But the sun planet has not entered your room. The generator of the sunlight has not entered your room. So the sun and the sunlight are simultaneously one and different. And in the same way, Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna's energies are simultaneously the same and not the same. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sublime teaching known as Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, which means that the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different, inconceivably so. The energy and the energetic are one, but at the same time they're different. Can anybody understand this? Yeah? It's a little bit of a mind bender. That's why it's called achintya. It's actually inconceivable. To some extent we can grasp the concept. But if we really try to put these two things together, one and different at the same time, they're one, and at the same time they're not one. It's achintya. And even I don't understand how it's achintya, which means it really must be achintya, because I'm still trying to understand how two things can be one and different at the very same time. Okay. So Krishna and Krishna's energy is all there is. Whatever I am interacting with, whatever, as we said before, whatever I see, hear, smell, touch, or taste is nothing but Krishna in the form of his various energies. So then, if we look at today's verse, an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. So this body means senses. If I did not have senses, then what would be the meaning of this body, really? I have 5 knowledge-acquiring senses. Yes, eyes, ears, tongue, nose, and skin. And by these 5 jnana-indriyas, these 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, I get information. Someone is speaking in the microphone, I hear, I understand something. I have these eyes, I'm able to perceive my environment and make determinations about what is what. Right? I can tell that there is one human being and there's another, and that's a mat. Right? And that's a rope, and that's a chair. This is very useful, okay, in order to be able to navigate my environment, right? So if the eye senses are not functioning nicely, then I become a little bit, what we say, disabled. I have some impairment that impairs my ability to navigate my environment. I require some extra help. Yeah? Like blind people, you see them carry a stick because they want to be able to perceive what is in their environment so that they don't end up in trouble, or they have a guide that is able to be their eyes for them. Okay. And then touch is very important. Taste. Yeah? Who wants to eat if you cannot taste? It's austere to eat food that has no salt or sugar if it's a sweet. If it doesn't have a sweetener, it's not a sweet, right? And then smell. Right? We want to smell something nice, and we want to avoid smells that are obnoxious. So in this way, we're constantly interacting with an environment through the senses, and that environment is feeding us information. And then we're working within our environment through the limbs of our body, right? The hands, legs. The mouth is a working sense. It's able to produce vibration, right? The vocal tract, the tongue. We're able to articulate particular sounds in order to tell others what matters to me. And I'm also able to understand others because they can also articulate what matters to them. Sometimes children get frustrated and parents get frustrated with children if the children are not able to communicate what they want. And you have to guess, you want this, 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 or this, and then through body language they're able to express it. So the working senses, we have 5 working senses: the hands, the legs, the mouth, the voice box altogether. And then the genitals and the rectum, right? These are working for us. So this is it. This is the body. This is what we have. This is how we move in the world. And practically speaking, everything that we're using and everything that we're interacting with is nothing but Krishna's energy. But the difficulty is that we are moving and working with these senses and the objects of the sense for our own purpose. And that's what gets us into trouble. Whereas really what we want to do, what will help us actually, is to engage with these senses and the environment around us for Krishna's purpose. That will help us. There was a gentleman the other day, and I was having a conversation with him, and I was trying to explain to him the point, because he was very much of the previous idea that in order to become saved or liberated from the material world, then one had to avoid sense gratification. One has to withdraw from the activities of sense gratification. And he's right. But he did not have the full picture. He did not have complete information. So I tried to repeat to him what I've learned from Srila Prabhupada. That actually, to really control the senses and to really escape from the sufferings of the material world, then it is not sufficient to just withdraw from the activities of the senses. Rather, one must employ the senses in the service of God. Right, this is called Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam. Serving the Lord of the senses by using the senses. Right? Lord Krishna's name is Hrishikesha, which means that he is the master of the senses. He is actually the possessor of this body. These are his senses, these are his limbs, this is his machine. I'm renting it for 100 years if I get that long. Right? Some of us get short-term leases. Others have full-term leases, but it's a fixed term. Right? There's no rollover indefinitely. You're born, you live with the machine, you engage the machine, then you grow old, and you have to die. This is the story of the material world. But this machine is the property of Sri Krishna. Right? I would like to see someone with a tattoo that says, property of Sri Krishna. That would be a worthy tattoo. Don't get tattoos. So everything actually is Krishna and Krishna's possession. The Lord says at the end of the 5th chapter, Bhaktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantam ruchati. You can be peaceful if you know 3 things about me, Krishna says. If you know that I am the actual enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. Krishna is the actual enjoyer of everything, certainly. But he is the one who is meant to be satisfied by any yajna or tapasya, by any sacrifice, by any expenditure of energy for a higher cause or for another cause. Any hardship that one takes on voluntarily. Krishna is the person who is supposed to be the enjoyer of that effort. And if we try to do something for another purpose, then we will not get peace. But if we perform sacrifice and austerity for Krishna's satisfaction, then we can be peaceful. Bhaktaram yagya-tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. He is the Maha Ishvara, he is the great supreme controller of sarva loka, of all places. He is the possessor and the controller of every planet. Everything belongs to Krishna. And he is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the Suhrid, the dear friend of every living being. Sarva Bhutanam, every living being, every species of life. Everything moving and non-moving that has life, Krishna is the dear friend. There are different words in Sanskrit to denote a friend. But Suhrid means the most intimate, well-wishing friend. Right? Dear friend, caring about your benefit, that's Krishna. One who knows that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme controller, and the supreme friend, can attain peace. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Shri Shri Gaura-Nitai. This is how one can become peaceful, simply by accepting, by knowing that Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. Everything is meant for his enjoyment. That he is the ultimate controller of everything, every place, and that he is the supreme friend of every living being. If we remember this, if we know this, if we accept this, then we can be peaceful. So, why is it then that others who do not know this suffer? Because they are attempting to exploit Krishna's energy for their own separatist purpose. Trying to go it alone, trying to be independent. We just read in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada was saying that many people in the material world, they want to imitate Krishna's dancing. Yeah? They want to be the lead dancer, the star of the show. And this causes personal disappointment. Because Krishna is the lead dancer. And if we want to be happy, then we have to dance with him. We have to, be in sync with the Lord's dance. Like if you've ever seen a dance performance that requires many coordinated bodies, yes? It looks very beautiful when everybody's on the same page or the same stage and they're choreographed nicely and they know their part. Yes, it has been designed and everybody is complementing each other's movement. It's a very synchronous and aesthetically pleasing dance. What if one of the dancers decides to show off a little bit? Yeah? Why do I have to be restricted by this particular move in this particular way in order to complement somebody else or in order to complement the group? Let me show what I can do. And they decide to break off and, shake a leg or whatever else to draw some attention to their own dancing. But if they do that, then they will spoil the show, because it doesn't work like that. And if there is a lead dancer who is supposed to receive the limelight, who is the focal point, and a subsidiary dancer decides to, show up, or attempts to show up the lead dancer, I want to prove that I'm better than this lead dancer, then it creates disharmony. And is anybody satisfied? Right? The audience, is awkward. The choreographer is fuming, and all the other dancers are sad and bitter and angry. Yes? So, the point simply is that God is the lead dancer. And the servants of God, the agreeable servants of God, they are fine with the fact that Krishna is the master dancer. And they want to participate and cooperate in his dance. And in the material world, the living entities generally are not fine with Krishna being the master dancer, and they are attempting themselves to be master dancer. But this cannot make one happy. So I was telling this person the other day that it's not enough to withdraw from sense gratification in order to achieve liberation. Rather, you have to engage your senses in the service of the Lord of the senses. He was thinking that I have to stop sense activity. But after we had this conversation, he told me later, my mind was blown. Because you told me that higher than stopping the work of the senses is to work with the senses for God, for the complete whole. That will actually make me happy. And Srila Prabhupada many times used two examples to explain this principle. If you want to nourish a plant or a tree, you have to water the root. Yes? The benefit of the nutrients will be therefore distributed to all the parts of the tree or the plant. The root is the place that accepts the nutrient. And from there it is distributed to the whole body. In the same way, the hand must cooperate by supplying food to the stomach. If the hand does not cooperate, the hand can go on strike. Why is the belly always getting all the food? Right? It's not fair. I want some food. Why does the belly get everything? Right? So the hand just decides to squeeze some sabji or some rasgulla, right? Shrikant, whatever, right? I want the food for myself. Okay, will it work? Let's say the belly agrees. Okay, all right. I've been eating for so long. Why don't you have some? You can have some. All right, okay. And then the hand's like, great. Payday. I'm gonna enjoy the food now. Okay, how many days before the hand realizes that, why is this not working as well? Why does this not work as well as it did when I was feeding the stomach? There must be cooperation between the part and the whole. So if you are part of the whole, but you refuse to cooperate with the whole, then you're only hurting yourself. You're cutting yourself off from the source of your sustenance. So, my friend, he had this light bulb moment that, wow, you mean, so yes, happiness means, and spiritual life means, that I have to actually engage my senses for the purpose and the service of the Lord of the senses. That's spiritual. And to simply deny the activities of the senses, that is still material, because your activity is simply the negation of a material activity. So you have one kind of activity which is material, yeah? And you're negating that, and your negation of that is also material, because it depends upon a material thing to negate. It's not positive, it doesn't stand on its own, it's simply the negation of what you know. But it's not the acceptance of something that you didn't know. So in this verse, right, Srila Prabhupada makes it very clear. He says, knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? So why is it that this world is described as full of false pleasure? So this verse makes it very clear that the pleasure on this platform, in this world, depends upon the contact between the senses and their objects. Yeah? My eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin are the senses by which I contact all of the different things in my environment. Some of those contacts give me pleasure, and some give me displeasure. I want to avoid the displeasurable contacts, and I want to engage with the pleasurable contacts, like keep it up, like get more. But if it was really possible to get more and more pleasurable contacts and increase it and make it better and better, then all of us would be, bouncing off the ceiling for joy all the time. But we're not. Rather, what happens is that we indulge in some pleasurable contact, and ultimately that contact breaks, and then we cry. Or we're depressed. We're sad. We want it again, but we can't get it again. Or we try for it again, and it's not as good the next time. Yeah? Because that's the nature of material sense gratification. It is ultimately disappointing and with ever-decreasing returns. So this contact between the material senses and their objects is actually a source of misery. Why? Because Krishna says, such pleasures have a beginning and an end. They have a beginning and an end. They start and they stop. So, if we really think about it nicely, okay, I'll put the question. What does each of us want, generally? I know that we all have our own idiosyncratic desires. But what do generally we all want? Yeah. Did you say that? Yeah. We want happiness. How long do we want our happiness to last? I'm sorry, I know these are obvious questions. Forever and always. We want our happiness to last forever and always. Okay.
No, we want to be what is happiness, not keepers, because that's angle. We want to keep the happiness within us. That's the crucible.
We want to always be in a state of happiness, don't we? We want to never be not in a state of happiness. Right? Did I get it right? We want to always have happiness. We never want to be without happiness. Always with happiness. Okay. And we want it to continue perpetually without interruption. Yes? But if we consider the place we're in, nothing here lasts. Nothing maintains, nothing sustains. And everything that gives pleasure, it has a beginning and an end. Like everything in this material world. Everything in this material world has a beginning and an end. So my pleasure, so let's say I start off unhappy, yeah? And then I get something from outside that gives me happiness, right? But because the happiness had a beginning, yeah, and it's in this material world, which means beginning and end, therefore that happiness also ends. So I was unhappy, yeah, I got something, I became happy, then I lost it, and then I'm unhappy. Okay, but what is the difference between the unhappiness before and the unhappiness after? Yeah.
I think the question is probably not about that, probably about where the happiness. If you think about happiness and you put the happiness in the hands of anything external in us, that's a different conversation than when you've got happiness within us. The happiness will be changing because nothing is constant ever. But if we give this happiness to external parties, our spouses, friends, anything that is external also with our senses, that's also giving the power to the joy we are giving outside.
Yes.
Some ways unsustainable.
So the problem is that when we depend on outside sources to give us continuous happiness, then that's not going to be possible, because all of the outside sources change, right? Or they come and they go. They are gained and they're lost. So let's say if I'm born unhappy, I get something that makes me happy, I lose it, I'm unhappy again. Now my unhappiness is worse because I had something and I lost it, right? It's like, it's worse, it's more negative. Because I experienced something that gave me pleasure, I lost it. Now it's like, now I remember being unhappy before, and I remember, to add to my problem, I remember losing what made me happy. So it's even more unhappiness. So everything that has a beginning and an end is simply the source of misery. And every contact with the material environment in this world is temporary. It has a beginning and an end. And so because the contact has a beginning and an end, it is simply the source of misery. Because the end means misery. The end of your pleasurable contact means misery. How many examples should we go through to bring home the point? Right? You get something, it's really nice, you enjoy it. Yes? And then it's lost or it turns against you. It ends. And then you're unhappy, depressed, sad, upset, disturbed, angry. So the contact between the senses and the objects simply gives a net result of misery. That's the net result. So real happiness is somewhere else. It's not in the contact between the material senses and their objects. If I am trying to exploit the environment for my own purpose, I will simply meet with misery. However, if I interact with my environment as service to God, then I will get a different experience. If I engage my hearing sense in vibrations glorifying God, I will get a different experience. If I engage my taste sense in food that has been offered to God, I will have a different experience. If I engage my smell sense in smelling flowers offered to God, I will get a different experience. If I engage my eyes, my seeing sense, in seeing the form of the Lord in the temple, or the devotees of the Lord, or anything connected to God, remembering that it's part of God, I get a different experience. If I touch anything connected directly with the Lord, Right? If I touch the arm of one of his devotees or the feet of the spiritual master, I get a different experience. I am engaging my senses in the service of God. When I do that, I am watering the root. I am feeding the stomach, even though I'm not a stomach. I am serving the whole. I am serving the center. When I serve the center, then, because I am connected to the center, I receive the benefit back. It comes back to me. This was my friend's realization. Oh, so if I actually do something, if I work with the senses for the purpose of the center, then it comes back to me. The benefit comes back to me. I become happy. That's actual happiness. I can actually be happy by engaging my senses in the service of the center. God, the master of the senses, Rishikesha, Krishna. This is actually how I can become happy. So material sense pleasures are due to contact between the senses and their objects. But those pleasures are temporary because the body is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested. A liberated soul is not interested because he knows this is just going to give me problems. It will start, and if I start it, it will end. And when it ends, I'm going to be disappointed. So let's not start. Let's not begin it, because anything that we begin materially has to end. However, on the spiritual platform, as soon as I engage in Krishna's service, that is a different experience. It's spiritual, it's eternal. And Srila Prabhupada mentions here that the mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures. Unlimited transcendental pleasures. So there's another standard of pleasure. It's called transcendental pleasure. And that has to be experienced. We're only thinking in terms of our material experience. Pleasures come and go, happiness comes and goes, what can you do, right? But actually, there's information that you can have a different experience of happiness. It's called transcendental happiness. And that has to be experienced to be believed. And one can experience it by agreeing to engage one's senses in the service of God. If one does that, one will get a different experience of happiness, completely different. And that happiness is ananda. It is blissful and it is unending. It's ever increasing, and it does not stop abruptly. It is not interrupted unless you choose to break away. But as long as you engage the senses in the service of the Lord of the senses, that pleasure is uninterruptible and ever increasing. Any questions? Any questions, thoughts, comments, complaints? So Lord Rishabhadev says, Srila Prabhupada quotes Lord Rishabhadev in this verse. He says that material pleasures are available in all species of life. The same pleasures, the pig, the hog, the stool eater is enjoying sex with all of his pig associates. Many more times than the average human being. A pigeon can enjoy sex several times in the hour. Well, these pleasures are available in every species of life. But in the human form of life, we have an opportunity to experience a different kind of pleasure. And we're going to attempt that now by chanting Hare Krishna. During the Arati, we're going to be singing a song for the Lord's pleasure, and we're going to be chanting Hare Krishna for the Lord's pleasure. Let's focus on that activity of singing for Krishna's pleasure and experience a different type of happiness. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Shri Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai.
Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki, Shri Gaur Nitai Ki. प्रभुपाद की जय जय गौरचंद्र आरती का शोभा केव जय जय गौरचंद्र आरती का शोभा आदि कोरे चमर धुलाया संजया मुकुंद वासु घोषधिकाया संजया मुकुंद वासु घोषधिकाया शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला मधुरा में रंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुरा में रंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र चेने वदन उज्ज्वला बहु कोटि चंद्र चेने वदन उज्ज्वला